Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Film Freaks,
Yay!
the movies that we love. And speaking of which, this is a movie I found a couple years ago, but I knew of it, I heard of it, and Paul, I don't think has seen it, but he might have because he tends to, But I think I've asked him before, and he said never seen it, but he's at least heard of it, sure. And it's a Billy Wilder movie. It's not the one you're thinking, probably, because whatever. But it's an old Billy Wilder movie, and it's a film called The Lost Weekend.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
You seen that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I thought you said you hadn't. But
oh yeah, no. Ray Milland won his Academy Award for that.
Yes. Yes. Actually, it's won. Was it Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, and Best Screenplay?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh yeah, it's a classic.
Yeah, it's a classic. It's a heartbreaking sort of drama. There's no real comedy in it. It's kind of like a sad tale.
Drinky.
Yeah, it's all about drinking and stuff. But it's a really good movie, and I think a lot of people haven't seen it. I'm not surprised that you have, but a lot of people haven't.
I'm surprised that that's not a criterion, honestly.
Not yet, but it's a Kino.
Oh, okay.
So it's a Kino Lorber, but it's not a criterion yet. So. All right, well, until then, everybody, I hope you wait for us, and we'll be right back.
Bottle hidden. I found it.
Oh, you found your bottle. Hey, everybody, we're back. Let me fix this a little bit so we can see more of Paul, because that's rude. We don't want to be rude like Don Burnham. All right, we are back.
With my quarter rye.
Yeah. I need my bottle.
Junkie needs his glug.
I drink soda now. That's well. Even before I drank, this was my drink of choice and everything like that.
Zero, baby.
So we are back. We are here to talk about The Lost Weekend, which honestly was, it was a good movie when I first saw it. I was like, oh my god, this is really right. But I still had little issues. You can see that on the Blu-ray Hunter episode I did. But like this, yeah, I can definitely tell there's problems with this movie a little bit. And this is not Billy Wilder's best movie by far, or whatever. I say The Apartment or even Sunset Boulevard might be my favorites of his movies. But this movie is really well done. So it's still up there with
it's
Billy's.
Beautifully shot. It's well acted. It's got a hell of a lot of theremin if you're a big theremin fan.
Way too much.
And yeah, I like it, but it's just one of those movies where it could have been better. It really could have been better. And I say this in that it feels like it only goes so far. Possibly because of, like you pointed out, the standards of the time wouldn't let it go so far, but
yeah,
we have seen other films, award-winning films, that have tackled this subject where they have gone the extra mile. Leaving Las Vegas is one. Requiem
Dream for the Addict stuff,
where you really get the down dirty stuff that some of these addicts go through. Whereas this just feels a little sanitized.
Even Ed Wood touched on the scene with them like having the addict stuff and everything, and it was even a little bit more crazy on that. Like I wish you pointed out when he wakes up in the alcoholic ward, that you pointed out that it was like Shock Corridor, but like even Shock Corridor went there, more compared to this. To this one, and I think that was just because, like I said, like I think it was 1945. There were codes that they said you can't do this, you can't do that,
Well, and I remember reading somewhere along the line that this did not test well initially, and I think because people thought it was a bad or a down ending, and I think they changed it because the ending has always been the problem that I've had with it, where she does the whole just say no, it's all you have to do, and he finally says, okay, I'm just done, and then that's it, and all of a sudden he's done with it, and it's just it just doesn't feel real. No, that's not what happens.
So, brand new 4K master, even though it's a Blu-ray. But Billy Wilder, the legendary director of Double Indemnity, Sunset Boulevard, Stalag 17, Witness for the Prosecution, which is amazing. Oh my god, that was a great one. I forgot about that one. Some Like It Hot, The Apartment. Oh my god, it's just like mentioning everyone. Irma La Douce, and The Fortune Cookie. Comes this classic drama starring screen great. I don't know why I thought that was giant. Screen great Ray Milland from X, The Man with the X-Ray Eyes, Reap the Wild Wind. An uncompromising look at the devastating effects of alcoholism, The Lost Weekend.
It is a compromise. That's the problem. It is compromised.
And uncompromising, it says, but alright.
I disagree with that.
The Lost Weekend was almost never released because the poor reaction by preview audiences unaccustomed to such stark realism from Hollywood. That was stark realism back then. In 1945. It was since gone on to be regarded as one of the all-time great dramas in movie history, featuring Milland's haunting portrayal of a would-be writer's dissatisfaction with life that leads to a self-destructive 3-day binge filled with riveting imagery. This masterpiece, co-starring Jane Wyman from All That Heaven Allows, won Oscars for Best Picture, Best Director, Wilder, Best Actor, Milland, and Best Screenplay, Charles Brackett and Wilder. Best screenplay, I wouldn't, whatever. But
no, but there are a number of compositions and shots that I love.
It was nominated for Best Cinematography, but it didn't win. Best Editing, but didn't win, and Best Score, but didn't win. Best Score was all Theremin mainly. Mostly Theremin, which is fine.
Some of the shots in the city, of course, I love that kind of stuff. Those were really, really good. You like the one that I also liked where he's looking for the bottle, looking, and then he sees the reflection.
Yeah.
That was great. And not only can you see the reflection, but you can actually see the liquid in the bottle. That was a great
I did like the little scene where he's at the opera and he's just thinking about that bottle so much. I'm like, why did you even go? Like, did you think you'd be able to survive an hour and a half or 2 hours with...
It's weird, though, because, 99.9999% of operas are full of fucking bottles of champagne and bottles of booze up on the stage. So he happened to pick the one where they're all full of booze.
Yeah, and they're all talking. Yeah, and then he's, like, watching, and it becomes, like, the clothes become... The clothes he was wearing, and then you see the inside has this
bottle in his pocket.
Yeah, so he's looking at that, and that was great. Like shots like that were great. There were shots of the buildings in New York that you and I loved. And it was New York in the 40s, so it was so different.
Absolutely.
It looked so...
Completely different universe, different rules, different everything.
Yeah, I mean, he was walking down the street and past, like, I don't know how many bank loan, places and things like that. It just was, it was just different than it is today, I feel like there was more shops around there than I ever see around here, like I feel like but anyway, it was just a so as it was kind of explaining, Ray Milland has this opportunity, his name's Don Burnham. He has this opportunity to go on vacation. The vacation didn't sound fun to me. Yeah. Like it sounded boring. I don't know. The way the guy was describing, all happy, like there's, there's ducks and there's blah blah blah, right?
I guess it's the idea is to get him out of the city and away from temptations of booze, because there's not going to be anything out there except fresh air and buttermilk.
Yeah, which sounded terrible. Even to like a person who's a recovering alcoholic, does not drink anymore, like myself. I would not want that. I'd be like, that's boring. I want, but
I could do it.
Well, you just do it because you'd just be happy to be free from everything. You'd make sure your phone's not around. All you do is just lay around all day
and eat buttermilk pancakes.
And
Hell
eat
yeah,
buttermilk pancakes and maybe watch stinky movies.
Shit,
that's all you would do.
I'd go right now if you offered me a weekend up in the mountains.
But he decides, at first he hides a bottle on a string, basically, and he puts it outside his house. Like, I was telling Paul, I was like, man, that thing falls, it's gonna hit somebody in the head. That would be a lawsuit waiting to happen, and maybe somebody's death. Right?
Yeah.
And but no, and his brother flicks a cigarette and then ends up seeing the cigarette and finding the bottle of booze before he can leave. And I was like, oh no. Of course he did.
Which is always kind of weird too, because it's like, I don't know, if I lived in a nice apartment and I smoked, I don't know that I would just casually be
I know. I was like, what the fuck is he gonna start a fire?
Just like randomly, I would have a fucking ashtray and you put it out. That's what normal people do.
I don't know why he thought that would be okay.
The script needs him to get to the window. That's the thing. So.
I get that, but there's other ways you could have figured out.
I know.
Oh, I left my hat over there. Oops, I found your thing.
Ooh, is that a pigeon taking a shit? Let's go see.
Is that a bat eating a mouse?
A bat on a string.
Pretty much. Speaking of strings, But anyway, so he's kind of caught, and he doesn't know what to do. His brother goes with his girlfriend to some play or whatever, and so he stays at home, and he's trying to figure out what to do. And this nice lady comes and cleans her room up. Which they did that back in the
Sure.
Was that part of the apartment complex or something?
No, you could just hire help to come in.
It was only $10.
I don't know why he bothered to hide it in the sugar jar. I guess so that his brother didn't find it.
That's what I was thinking. That his brother didn't find it. Well,
or you could just pay the lady and then just ahead of time, and then she could just show up later.
Yeah, well, I don't think he expected. Like, they weren't even expecting them to come because they were about to leave. Like, they were very close to actually leaving and stuff. So they weren't expecting that lady to come.
Wick.
Wick was the brother's name. That's weird. I've never heard anybody named Wick.
It's interesting because there's like weird names and weird things in there, but there's also some really fun stuff. Like, I loved Glory. Glory's my favorite character.
I think her name was Doris Dowling.
Okay.
Because that's the only other female on there except Jane Wyman.
She was amazing. I loved her. Oh, that's Delish, or that's Natch. I love how she did her little abbreviations.
Well, he didn't like it.
She was consistent with that throughout.
Yeah. Well, he didn't like it, and then he did it.
Yeah, and then
he did it to talk to her and stuff. But no, he. So he ends up finding the money in the sugar jar and telling the lady, "Oh, it's he must not have left it." And she's like, "Oh darn! I wanted to go grocery shopping today." I was like, "Damn, you now just
stealing money from old ladies."
Yeah, stealing money from old lady. Well, I mean, from his brother to give to the old lady, and everything. I mean, we don't even see what the aftermath of what his brother comes back and find. Like.
And then, if you guys really want to see what prices are like, he buys these quarts of rye. Go for $2.15. Holy shit.
Yep.
It was cheap to be an alcoholic back then.
So he got those 2 quarts. I mean, they were big bottles.
Yep.
And then he decided, after drinking one of the bottles, I believe, he was like, I'm going to go down to the bar and...
drink a bunch
no,
of
actually, before that, before he was drinking, he had 2 bottles. came into the bar first
with the bottles.
With the bottles
and the oranges to make it look like he was.
I thought it was apples.
Oranges or apples, one of the two.
Orange, apple,
same thing.
Yeah. So fruit.
Round fruit.
He came with fruit because he didn't want people seeing
and
the bottles.
It's funny because it didn't matter because he walked by the old lady. She's like, "That's the writer who drinks all the time."
So everybody already knew who he was, and that
funny.
and which is funny because he even said like earlier that everybody around town already knows who I am, blah 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 blah, and like people are like telling him, no, nobody knows, you're just being paranoid, kind of thing. Later, it turns out everybody does know who he is and knows that he's even the landlady knows who that
Then the guy that you like, the damn the bartender, is like keeps yelling at him, "Oh, you shouldn't do this. No, stop asking for a drink.
I told,
you really should give it up.
Yeah,
it's terrible that you keep drinking." He's like, dude, you were enabling him 1,000%.
I mean, bartenders really shouldn't say no to money. That's like, I mean, kind of. But I mean, they cut you off, and they
gave him a free drink.
Well, later when he was like saying he was dying, or whatever. Yeah, it was crazy. That guy was really like, it was definitely a big enabler. But you did try like to tell him like, look, you're really messing up here, pal. I don't, whatever. So, and then he was making a little ring, I don't know what they are, like
the condensation
alcohol.
rings.
Yeah, condensation rings. And he was even telling him, don't wipe it off. I wanna see the rings, or whatever. So he created like a shit ton of rings by the end of the night and everything, because he just kept drinking and drinking. I don't know how much were the shots, I wonder.
Must have been cheap.
Like, must be like 20 cents or something.
Because you figure $10, he bought 2 bottles at $2.15 a piece, so you figure he's got about $6 left at least, and he must have had like maybe a dozen, I would say.
Yeah.
So yeah, 50 cents.
And then he left the change. Remember, the guy said, "Yeah, you forgot your change." So he even left the change, which, as an alcoholic, I would have, even myself, I would have been like, "Oh, sorry, I gotta grab my change."
So you gotta figure if a quart bottle is $2.15, a shot may only be like a quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine? My God.
A quarter for a shot, like, yeah, you can't get that today.
Those were the days.
Yeah, you couldn't get that today. It's a good thing.
$7 a shot these days.
See, that was the one reason I never drank, because at the bar, it was because because it cost like fucking ridiculous.
It's a different that's like a city neighborhood bar where it's cheap to drink. I mean that's kind of
they still don't have that today. I mean, even if they have the neighborhood bars, they're not going to be 25 cents a thing.
They don't really, because it's like they have like here in Hampton they have like Bar Louie, but it's like it's an expensive place, so they can sell you expensive drinks.
Right, but even the cheap shit, it costs like at least like $6 a shot.
Yeah,
something like that. My theory was always go to the ABC store. We have ABC stores here in Virginia, and you go to the ABC store, pick up a bottle, and that will last me 2 or 3 days, and then because I didn't glug the whole fucking bottle like he did. I could not do that.
You didn't hide stuff in your house or in your room?
I did outside, and that really pissed off my mom, when I was younger, because I would hide out in the woods where like kids could find it, and shit like that, and I didn't. I mean, I did that because like that's only where I thought nobody would go out and look and everything, and they found out later, but like
you didn't have it on a string outside your window.
No, I mean I didn't think anything about this. I had a friend of mine who was an alcoholic as well, and she would hide it in my like underneath my sink and stuff, and I never thought to do that stuff. Like I just thought to put it in my room somewhere or something, because I was like him, where I would be afraid I'd forget where it was, and I didn't want to forget where it was. So the only time like I woke up once and never found the bottle, and have no idea where it ever went. It went somewhere, either went in the trash, somebody dumped it in the trash, or whatever. Actually, nobody knew I had that. It was an Everclear, and I don't know where it went. Oh man, that is that's straight rubbing alcohol, pretty
Yes.
much. Yeah, is not. Do not do Everclear unless you're really want to get fucked up.
Very glad. I mean, I drank a lot. I had two stages in my life. In high school, we drank a lot, and then when we started to get back, when I started first doing archaeology, because archaeologists are a big, heavy, hard drinking bunch, I kind of went back and did a lot of booze then. But it was different. We went out like on a Friday night or maybe a Saturday night and drank, but that was it. Never in between, and never for fun or for taste or by yourself. It was only a social thing. It was only done a few, once or twice a week. Now, we kind of did it a lot for a while, but after a while, it's kind of like, oh, this isn't really fun and it's expensive and cookies are tastier and cheaper, so I'm going to go do that. So I just never really went, and then I ended up getting type 2 diabetes, so...
From cookies.
And alcohol is one of the worst things for diabetics, so
yeah.
I just gave it up.
I mean,
completely.
You still had a margarita.
Now and again, once in a great while.
We went when we went to LA. We were in Huntington Beach, and we went to a Mexican restaurant. It was the only time I had seen Paul drink anything.
It was one of those big, giant, frozen mango margaritas.
Giant. I was like, "Fuck, dude!"
And
you drank the whole thing.
It was like $8. I was like, "What?"
Yeah, that was pretty cheap especially for LA.
For that size, hell yeah.
So you drank an $8 margarita that was like this size. And I was very happy to, because I'm okay. I'm one of those people that I'm used to people drinking around me. My family and other people drink around me. Does not bother me whatsoever. As long as I don't drink, I don't give a fuck if you drink, I'm not going to be one of those guys that's like, I can't hang out with you if you're drinking, that kind of thing. Like, I just know in my head and my heart that if I drink again, bad things will happen. It'll be worse than this guy. This guy had it good. Even up to the end when he was like contemplating suicide, that was like kind of far out of left field, really, for this movie. But it was supposed to be that way because it's supposed to show.
Right.
I didn't feel like that character would really have gone that far.
No,
I think
he'd have been out robbing liquor stores.
That's what you said he should have done.
There are other steps in between before you get to that stage.
And he even robbed like a liquor store, without kinda.
Well, he just went up and said, "I'm going to have that quart of rye, and that's it."
Right. Well, I think he had like his hand in his pocket or something, like he had a gun or something.
I wish they would have shown that more because it's implied, but you didn't really see it.
Yeah, and so the guy just let him have it, I guess.
Yeah.
And stuff, and didn't call the cops, like nothing, no repercussions. So
contrast that scene where he's talking about the earlier one where he's going to steal the purse. Where that was great. That you saw every repercussion there, and the shame and getting caught, and then it's funny they kick him out, and then the piano player starts playing a song. Someone stole a purse.
Yeah, well, so I had thought that was a flashback or something because I remember I'd seen it, but it had been a while. But I did remember that scene, and he was looking at the matches that said the name of the place. So he went back there. So I thought that was like supposed to be a low point.
The thing is that sometimes when we're going in flashbacks in the movie, and this is another thing that bugged me, you get that typical dissolve where he's like, blah, 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 okay, we know he's going back into a memory. Sometimes we go back into a memory and it doesn't do that, so we're not sure until the scene plays out.
That scene was not a flashback because even Paul was like, "Oh, the bottles and the lamp," and I was like, "I don't think this is that scene. That's supposed to be that scene." Yeah, it was. So it was him. It was him at one of his lows. He did not have enough money because he didn't have all the full amount from whatever. He had, his check was supposed to come, so he took this lady's purse, went into a bathroom with it, and this guy's doing his like this guy, I forgot what they're called, like bathroom attendant, or whatever, is is shining his shoes and doing all this stuff.
It's a thing they used to have back in the day, and as life went on, we didn't really do that anymore. Except, I remember back in my late after college years when a bunch of us would go to like some of the gentlemen's clubs, they would have them there, and it was just sort of a way.
That's
to,
even
like,
a weirder.
It is.
That's
weird.
a weirder thing, because like, no offense,
thing.
but after I'm getting a lap dance, the last thing I want is some guy touching me.
I know. It's a weird thing now in this world where it's like there's a guy in the restroom waiting for you to come in there so that you can like touch your hands or give you a towel.
They still do that.
Or,
Apparently they still do it.
Yeah, it's weird.
Some like high.
Or they're like, you want some cologne. Let me give you some cologne. Because I've gone into restaurants where they've had it, and I'm like, dude, leave me alone. I'm too good to take a piss. Leave me alone.
And don't watch me, please.
But it was a different world. It was considered a sort of a high, fancy place for you to do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just part of that world that just no longer exists. But it's cool to see it in a film back then. You know.
I mean, I think this was, from what I understood, it was by a novel by Charles Jackson.
Right.
And so I'm wondering if Charles Jackson had gone through some of this. And I wonder how different the book is.
Yeah, I imagine the book probably goes into more detail, but I've never read it. So
yeah, I've never read it either, so I can't say. But, like, I'd imagine that it was darker in the book. And maybe the guy did want to commit suicide. So they try to leave out all the stuff, but also sort of make it a little bit palpable for
I'm sure it was condensed.
The audience. Because, remember, this is... When did World War II end?
45.
45? So this is, like... at the end of World War II that this movie comes out, you know? So, like, this isn't... They needed still something happy, you know?
It's weird, though, because there's no mention of that. You know, and he would have been of age to have served, too.
Mm-hmm.
And you would have think that maybe somewhere along the line they would have explained that maybe he had some, PST or some kind of trauma or something that led him into this. You know what I mean? I would have bought that.
No, I understand that, and maybe too, but like all it tells you, all the backstory you get is that he has a brother named Wick, and he was a alcoholic, and he wants to be a writer.
Yeah, it's the single biggest event that happened in the 20th century.
Right.
There would have been at least a mention of it.
I don't know, though, because like movies that are getting made now, none of which mention Trump or anything.
Yeah,
like
but this is different. This is 100 million people died.
Right.
It was a big deal.
Yeah, I mean I get that. Like I'm just saying, I don't know. Well, I guess a lot of movies these days talk about COVID, and the coronavirus. So I mean it is, and they do that, but then sometimes they try to not talk about it. Because nobody wants to be bummed.
Oh, I know, but this is not a happy. Let's forget about your worries.
Well, no, but they try to have it be
Mickey Rooney. Let's put on a show.
I know it's very sad at times, but the ending and all that is supposed to be happy.
Yeah.
And so it's supposed to make you feel like even if you are, and this is okay. I guess we'll get into this real quick, but that's the problem with this movie. Is the ending wraps it up way too quickly.
Yeah.
And the biggest problem with the movie is that the message that it's trying to say is if you want to quit, you can just quit. And if you're a real alcoholic like he was, it's not going to be easy as, I just want to be a writer, so I quit.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that was palatable in the 1940s, but that ending, it just wouldn't fly today.
Nope.
To modern audiences, because I think the struggles of any kind of serious addiction are well known. I mean, we're talking about a world where most people know someone, a kid or a relative or a friend or somebody who's going through addiction with drugs or booze or something, and they understand what real addiction goes through. You know what I mean? So this would not fly. That
Nope.
sort of thing would not fly today.
No, sir. No.
But for its time, I mean, I guess, I don't know. I'm just kind of on the fence about that.
Yeah, I mean, it was that, and like he wanted to commit suicide because he couldn't handle the long weekend, the lost weekend that he had. Which, I mean, he did lose a lot because at one point he went to go see Gloria, even though he stood her up. I know. He had two hot dames who both wanted him, and yet he was still selfish and didn't care about either. And even Nat was trying to tell him, like, "You're gonna break Gloria's heart. What are you doing? And that other girl's heart. What are you doing? These poor women."
Yeah, you jerk. Here, have some more booze.
That was the big thing. I kept going. This guy's an enabler. He's just all he's doing is telling him he's allowed to have alcohol. More and more. Oh, please pour me some. He'd say no for a little while, and then be like, "All right, fine. Here you go."
It's almost like I'm expected to say no, but here.
Yeah, I feel like I have to say no, but I kind of want you to die.
But I mean, this is, I guess, I don't know if it was, a law back then, but at least today, bartenders are required to cut your ass off if you're drunk, because if something happens, they end up getting held responsible for it. So I don't know if that was a thing back then, but today, yeah, you are not only morally, but you are legally responsible to cut someone off. Shit, you can't even have a party where somebody gets drunk and allow them to go off. You know what I mean? Your ass will be in trouble if they run someone over.
Right. So you got to be very, very careful with it.
Absolutely. And you should be.
Yeah. Well, it's people's lives are in danger. Then and everything. So I totally get it. I mean, honestly, it's a fun movie. I mean,
yeah, it's the movie that you watch because Ray Milland is fantastic in it. It really is his best role, and it almost verges on the melodramatic, but I think he dials it back enough that it's still a good, believable performance, and I think he richly deserved his Academy Award for it. The supporting acting is all really, really good. The composition of shots is fantastic. There's a lot of good stuff in there. So there's a lot to recommend about the film. It's a classic film. It could have been better. Could have been better.
He went to the alcoholic ward, woke up, and he saw the people did delirium tremens, and that's a real thing. Like, I think I had a few of those in my life.
And my question was, the alcoholics ward of what?
Well, he said, because he asked him that, like, which hospital he was at or whatever, and he wouldn't give him the name of the hospital, and I think that was a safety thing.
Because I don't think a public hospital would have that. I think they're trying to say that was like a sanitarium, perhaps. Maybe?
It looked like a sanitarium. It looked like
if that's the case, then their security sucked.
Well, they only had one guard, and he was like helping them out, and he got to sneak out and everything. Took some guy's coat and walked out and everything.
Yeah, that was like, okay.
He was such a mess.
Because even in Shock Corridor, they couldn't get out of that place.
No. You couldn't just walk out. Which sucks, because I would never do that. I would never like agree to be an investigative journalist going into a mental hospital where I've seen it in, like, there's the TV show Melrose Place, and it was so funny. One of the doctors, said, "Oh, I've got, wanted to get rid of this woman." So he said, so they put this woman up, and they said, "Oh, she's going to tell you she's not really crazy, but she is crazy. Trust me, I'm a doctor, right, blah, blah, blah." And then the lady's stuck there because she could be like, "I'm not crazy," and they're like, "Yeah, that's we know you're not crazy. Come back over here." I'm like, you're like, how do you get out of that stuff? Like, how do you prove that you're not, especially when they pump you in with all these drugs and shit like that. And it looked like the dude was gonna give him alcohol. Like he had it looked like he had a shot in his hand.
Bim.
Yeah, Bim, which was his name, Nolan. His real name was Nolan, but he went by Bim. It was weird, and he was telling him that all the people saw like midget monkeys
little animals.
And little animals.
Little animals.
Yeah, and so he sees a little animal. He sees a bat on a string and a mouse, and then there's like blood coming, and that was all his, craziness and everything.
Cuckoo.
Yeah, he's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but I've had those. They weren't little animals though. I've had little delirium tremens, and I've seen things that I am not. I saw a little man once. I saw a little man and a really tall man, like a wizard with a wizard hat, come in and stuff. It freaked me out, man.
I never had that, although I did drink so bad once that I came back home, I crashed, and the next day I woke up and I was still drunk as a skunk, and I had the bed spins, and it took 2 days. I was drunk for like 2 days. It was bad.
Yeah, I've been that way, and you have to detox yourself, and it's not a good idea to detox yourself, honestly. You could die.
Yeah, to be that drunk, I could have died.
You could have died.
So
There's a lot, but I mean, that's the thing. Like I've had up to like, I don't know. Like I think the death limit I think is like 3.0 or something like that, or 4.0, something like that.
And I remember once coming back from Newark, University of Delaware, because we would party all the time, and I wanted to get home because I knew that if I wasn't going to get home, I was going to pass out. And somewhere along the line on 141, just outside of Newark, I blacked out for about 30 seconds because I was all the way in the right-hand lane, and at that point it was a 6-lane highway, and when I opened my eyes up again, I was all the way in the left lane, about 3 feet from the concrete curb, and I was going at about maybe 15 miles an hour. So I was like, oh shit, and that scared the living hell out of me, and I got home okay, but dude, I wouldn't have known. It was, you know what I mean? So yeah, after that, I didn't do that anymore.
Yeah,
I was lucky, very lucky.
Well, yeah, and that's the scary thing about alcohol is that you don't know what's going to happen.
No, you think you've got control and you don't.
You really don't, and so, and this is no way like. Even my message of saying don't drink, because some people, even in this movie, they kind of talk about that some people can drink like a normal person and some people can't. I wouldn't want to drink like a normal person if I were drinking.
If you're going to do it, fucking be responsible.
I know. See, that's the thing. I wouldn't want to be responsible if I were drinking because I would want to drink and get blacked out. Like that was what I enjoyed. I didn't enjoy just taking a sip of something and you know what I mean? I like that sounds like hell to me. Like it sounds boring. Right? Like just I'm gonna have a glass of beer. Like that just doesn't like I'm like I'd rather have soda. Like beer doesn't even taste good to me. Like I would want soda and I'm gonna stick with that.
It's the effect you want, not the
yeah, it's like the people are like, oh, you should have non-alcoholic beer, and I'm like, I don't even like regular beer. Like the only reason I drink regular beers when I didn't have liquor, and when I didn't have regular beer or liquor, I did wine, and and that was never good. Like it was never a good thing for me, because as the guy says in this movie, which we you hear said, it's a popular saying, which is one's too many and two is never enough, or something like that, or something like that. And that's the truth. Like, it's never enough.
Yeah, I think one's too many, 10's not enough. Or something.
Yeah, something like that. Like 2, 3, 5. Like it doesn't matter.
I was the opposite. I only liked certain things. I only drank certain things. I never drank shit. I never drank the cheapest stuff. If I was going to drink, it was going to be, I had my Guinness, and I wasn't drinking anything less than that. You know what I mean? So, in that way, I guess that was good, because that prevented me from just going on binges, because that was way too expensive. Well,
right, but like that wouldn't have stopped me from going on a binge, and that is why I relate to Ray Milland's character. I wonder if I think I heard Ray Milland actually
he
did have a little bit of a problem.
Did have a problem
and this movie kind of was a good thing for him to do, because it helped him sort of.
And it's a shame, because his career, you would have thought that after this that he would have been on everybody's A-list, but it didn't really work out like that for him.
I hate to say he's not conventionally good looking. He's not the...
Not according to that movie.
What?
Not according to that movie.
With all the girls, going around on him. But, like, he's not Cary Grant, Do I think Cary Grant could have pulled it off? Maybe, but it would have been a different role. I feel like.
Dana Andrews. I could see Dana Andrews.
I could see Jimmy Stewart. I think he would have been good as that role. But I did like Ray Milland. Like I thought he did a great job, and he's one of those actors that you see in a lot of different stuff, and you're like, oh yeah, I know him from The Lost Weekend, or I know him from,
Man with the X-ray eyes.
I think he was on. If I'm correct, he was in one or two Alfred Hitchcock movies too.
Yeah, and he was on some TV stuff, some classic TV.
Yeah, so.
But he was never really like a big. He never really became a big star.
No, and it's kind of a shame, but. And I think he died early, like in his age, like at 50 or 60 something, where he should have had like much longer time to do stuff. But it was so funny because he said he was like 33, and I looked over at Paul. I was like, he does not look 33. No. I was like, I'm 10 years older, and he looks 10 years older than me. Like, I don't know if that was what they were looking to make him look like, or because he was probably in his 40s.
Well, just think, man, we'd have to be walking around in fucking suits and ties and shirts. I mean, look at us. We're just like slobs because this is America. We can do that. But America back then was different.
You were even saying, like, it was interesting to look back there, but you probably would not have wanted to live there,
No. Too regimented.
Too many rules and too many... You have to be a certain way. What was perfect for you was you grew up in the punk rock era.
Absolutely.
Where I found out what you're called, by the way. You're a punk purist.
Yeah.
By the way.
I would say.
Yeah. And so you were one of those guys who grew up on Sex Pistols and Ramones and all of that stuff. And so you grew up on that time period of like, fuck you, I'm going to do what I want to do. You're not going to tell me.
Well, because we were a tiny sliver versus the majority, so.
Yeah. So you always kind of did that. And you still do that. You're still that way.
Oh, yeah.
I remember a story about the guy bothering you at fucking the pharmacy or whatever, like I think it was CVS or something. Some guy was trying to like start touching you and stuff. You're like, get the fuck away from me.
Oh yeah.
And you're just like, you don't let people fucking, no. Like you don't let people do whatever they want. And so you definitely would not fit in. Well, you would have had to fit in the 40s, right? If you were living there, you wouldn't have been you, pretty much. You would have been.
I would not have been.
Yeah, which I don't think you'd be happy. You'd be like,
probably
I'm in
not.
the wrong decade.
I mean, I still pay a social cost for that, but I just don't care.
But this movie, that sort of was the way they were. They sort of were. You had to be respectable.
Were expected to dress a certain way and, do certain things, and you just had to do it.
Why did Wick stick up for him at that one point where, like, that really bothered me? Because, like, it was right before, I guess, Wick became, like, how he was in the beginning of the movie, where he's
sick of him.
He was sick of him, and he was tired of him doing this, and he was tired of... but he was helping him out, saying, I'm the alcoholic in the family. This is my bottle of booze. And all this stuff. And then, he came out, Don came out and was like, stop sticking up for me.
It's weird because you got to think that this booze thing didn't come out of nowhere.
No.
He had to have known it. It had to have been a thing that was going on
for
quite some time. So, yeah, it feels a little weird that he would do that. I agree.
And I mean, and then that's another thing of why I don't think it worked at the end. Because, remember, he has actually stayed sober for like 10 months or something, with her, because of her. Because he met her, and then he did not drink any. He told the bartender, he's not a very good narrator. Like, you don't know if he's telling the truth or not because he's an alcoholic. But I'm pretty sure he's telling the truth in the story of how after he met her, he went to the party where there should have been booze, and he didn't drink because he wanted to impress her. And then he just kept not drinking and not drinking, but he just still felt like he wasn't you know.
And then Wick just kind of vanishes.
Well, he's on his vacation.
I guess, but I mean, he's gonna leave his alcoholic brother behind.
Yeah, you said he was sick of him.
Yeah.
Remember, he even said, to her, you should leave him too. He needs to, And she said, well, what if he, falls into traffic and gets hit by a car? And he was like, he needs a wake up call like that.
Or what if he fucks up your apartment or sets it on fire?
She even said that, and I think he didn't care at that point because he would have had to be the one who, whatever. So I don't know. I think and the landlady.
What a harpy.
She was hilarious because, first of all, there's a milkman that puts milk out, and keeps putting
Those
milk
were the
out.
Days.
And
here's your milk. Here's your milk. Here's your milk. Here's your milk.
Which is hilarious because, remember you laughed when he's like, we have milk. We have lots of milk.
We have an abundance of milk.
Yes, because nobody did anything with them until I guess toward the end of the movie, and but the harpy landlady is seeing the girl, and she's all nosy. She knows everything about everybody. Oh, you're the girlfriend. He's a drunk. I know because I've seen the bottles that come out here. I could have thrown him out, but his brother is so nice that I just keep him around. And I'm like,
well, she also says, oh, he's pretty good looking.
Yeah, he's pretty. See, even the landlady had a crush on Dawn. I'm just like, really? Like Ray Milland? I don't know. And he's, to me, maybe back then especially, maybe that's what they were looking for. But I think he was okay. I just don't think he was not Don Juan, Burnham, but yeah, it was it's a very well done, well scripted in a way. There's problems, but
it definitely feels dated.
Yeah, but great monologues, great talks, great dialogue at times with about this stuff because. Especially at the 40s, they had to know this. They had to, because this was 10 years after AA existed, so they knew that alcoholism was a real big problem.
Sure.
And so they knew that before, but they didn't know what to do. And they even talk about there's no cure for it except not drinking, and that is technically the truth.
Because previously it was considered just a moral failing.
Because even AA, first of all. If you are seeking to drink and that's your problem and you want to figure out how to stop drinking, if you want to try AA, go ahead and try AA. There are other avenues, but you got to find what works for you. If AA doesn't work for you, try Celebrate Recovery. It didn't work for me. I didn't like Celebrate Recovery, but
most people need some kind of assistance because your mental, things are being rewritten by the alcohol. So it's very, very rare to people who could just go cold turkey and that's it.
But they said something about your heart and stuff, and it's not your heart. Your heart has nothing to do with the alcohol. It's your brain.
Right. Your
brain chemistry. Your brain says, your brain for whatever reason says, I can drink, and everything's going to be fine. And trust me, I know, because my brain tells me this shit all the time. And I have to recondition my brain to think, if I do that, I'm going to...
Shut up, brain, you don't know nothing.
I know, sometimes you gotta tell your brain that. And if your brain is that messed up, your brain's that messed up. I mean, whatever, it is what it is. But you just gotta get help for it. You gotta figure it out ahead of time, and you gotta make sure you can, There are pills, but all the pills do is stop you. Once you drink, they make you throw up. Anytime you drink, you throw up. That to me defeats anything. Why? Why would
Most people drink and throw up anyway. So
yeah.
What's the difference?
I did that once because I hadn't drank this certain Barnett's vodka. You ever had that shit? It's awful. It's the cheapest vodka you can get, and it was flavored vodka. So it's vanilla or strawberry or...
Let me tell you what the worst thing is.
What? That rye stuff?
No. At one point, I remember we went to a party in University of Delaware, and we had vodka. We didn't have anything to mix it with. So the first thing we did is we poured vodka with tap water. It was horrible. So
it sounds like bad. That sounds bad.
It was bad. And then the only other thing we had was instant Tang. So we put instant Tang into it.
I just, you know what I would do? I would just shoot it and then chase it with water, because, you know, that was the thing. That's how you did Everclear. You don't drink Everclear mixed with something, you know, because it's still going to taste like shit and everything. You just drink a shot of Everclear and then drink, you know.
Everclear is not something you drink. Everclear is the kind of thing like, you want to see somebody get sick, give them a dare, say, hey, drink this garbage, you know. Because, again, I wasn't drinking for that. I was drinking for flavor. I wasn't...
Oh, yeah, no. I remember...
Still wanted to get drunk. I just didn't want to drink...
My friends videotaped my first time drinking Everclear. I'd never drank it before. And I had it, you know... And they gave me a double chaser. Double shot. So, I didn't know that. I didn't know what, like, that big of a shot. I thought that was just a normal shot, just in a thinner case, you know, or whatever. So I drank it. I was like, ah, and I had to drink like whatever, the orange juice or whatever, something that they made me chase it with, like Coke or something, and it was awful.
I will say I had one heroic moment in my life thanks to drinking.
What?
And that was when my first time I was in Ireland. It was just before I had met someone that ended up being one of the sort of love of my life, and there was this guys there at this bar that I was with. He was a younger guy, and you know, in Ireland you can drink younger, so they're like 18, 19, and they must be used to Americans coming in and just drinking like Budweiser, because they would have Budweiser on tap, but not drinking Guinness, which is a heavy dark beer. Because
isn't it Irish beer?
Yeah.
It's Irish.
So I was in there and I ordered a Guinness because I liked Guinness and I had been around and I had a few. And so this guy comes up to me and he says, yeah, you like the Guinness? And I was like, yeah, I like it. And he's like, I'll tell you what, if you could outdrink me with a Guinness, whoever can drink it fast, the winner gets to drink the rest of the night for free. And he and his friends were there, and they were all looking at him because they all knew. It's like, oh, this yank, he's not going to be able to, you know, he's take one sip and that's it. And we did. We had a big, huge pint. Gulp. I did it like super fast. Beat him like that. And he was like dumbfounded. They were all dumbfounded. And he was like, oh, well, I guess you're drinking free all night. And yeah, and they bought me beers the whole night.
Because they were playing in that dumb American.
Dude, they were telling everybody in the bar, like, oh my God, this American, he drank the Guinness like that. It was amazing. Because I guess they'd never seen that before.
Yeah, they're probably used to, like, sip
right,
people,
right.
You know, or whatever.
Ew, I don't like that. Where's my Budweiser?
No. Well, you know what? Now we know where your diabetes definitely came from.
Yeah. I can still down a pint of Guinness like that.
Don't.
No.
It's probably a bad idea.
No.
But that's the thing. Like, you know, I've had, you know, several bunch of different things with alcohol, and I had to learn. I just can't do it. Like some people, I have to treat it like I'm allergic to it. Like, I mean, there's no other way to describe it. You know,
it's not worth it.
Yeah, it's stupid.
It's literally poison. You know, there's no good part of alcohol that's good for your body physically. It's a poison.
Plus we're older now, and like, you know, it's not like we
we
used to be anyway. You know, like if I did it now, I'd be dead.
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
once in a great while to be social, will I have something? Sure, but it's pretty rare. If I have 2 or 3 drinks in the course of an entire year, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, literally that. Have I ever seen you drink anything else other than that margarita?
So. I don't think so. I'd rather have cookies. Cookies taste great.
Cookies and zero sugar soda is what he has all the time.
Much.
Or he eats my Swedish fish with me. I mean, that is, to me, I'd rather have that. And honestly, I'd rather have energy drinks or coffee or whatever.
Coffee,
you know. Yeah, I haven't had coffee. Well, I had coffee the other day. But I tend to not drink as much coffee because it upsets my stomach more now that as a fucking adult, you know, and shit. Like, 10 years ago, I could drink coffee like a fish. I don't think you knew me then, but I could drink like a fish like that. Now we created Indie Film Cafe, and the whole idea is that we're supposed to be drinking coffee and hanging out talking, and like that just never happened because my stomach would just,
I mean, we could do tea. It'd be fine.
We could do tea, right?
Yeah, I love tea.
Oh, Lord. What about crumpets? Tea and crumpets.
That works. Jen would make us crumpets.
Ooh, she could, couldn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Let's ask her to do that just for fun.
Sure.
See if she'll do it.
Or maybe just scones. That would work.
No, I want crumpets because I've never had crumpets. But that'd be nice. But then scones another day, But yes.
I'm not sure what the difference is, frankly.
It might be the same thing. I don't know. But I think they're different. I think they gotta be different names. I don't know. Anywho, I would definitely recommend buying this movie, The Lost Weekend. There are some awesome special features, including audio commentary by film historian Joseph McBride. I think I might have listened to a little bit of it, but I haven't listened. I might listen to more of it tonight because I'm actually interested in that. Radio adaptation of it, so I'm sure, I don't know who did who plays it or whatever. Trailers from Hell with Mark Pellington, and a theatrical trailer. So it's got some good stuff. I mean, I honestly think as long as it even has just like one commentary track or something, like you're set, So, and Kino Lorber is pretty good with that. So sometimes they're bare bones, but most of the time they have at least one commentary track from a film historian. We gotta be film historians at some point. How do we do that?
Stinky movie historian? That'd be great.
I don't want to be a stinky movie historian. I want to be a good film historian. I want to...
We don't get those kind of jobs.
I know. We don't. People don't... They see us as the stinky movie guys, I guess. But we do good movies. See? We do movies we love. Once again, this is a movie that's not as well known. So... Definitely.
It's been lost in The Lost Weekend.
I know. That's kind of sad. But check it out if you like this kind of stuff. I think you'll get into it. If you don't, probably wouldn't get into it. I don't know. That's the only way I can describe it. So hope you guys watch. Hope you guys get a chance to check this out. Buy it on Blu-ray, or I think it's got to be on one of the like Paramount Plus or something.
Sure.
If not, just seek it out somehow.
Yeah. It's worth checking out. A little dated, but it's worth checking out.
Definitely. All right, man. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Talk to you later. Bye.